Welcome back to the John and Linetia Show. And today's topic?
Today's topic is gun control. Kind of. So on Wednesday, during the day, our president, our fearless leader, Barack Obama, finally basically revealed his plan to, as they say, the plan to protect our children and communities by reducing gun violence.
Good.
So this is the multi-point plan of basically attacking the gun violence problem we have in the United States.
Good.
Starting to attack
Good.
it. Excuse me.
Great. Wonderful. I'm glad something's been done.
So, and what was good about this is that he got a group of, politicians, on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, and they did a little brainstorming, came up with some ideas and things with VP Joe Biden.
And they even had parents come in.
Yeah. Well, they had lots of different, I'm sure the gun lobby didn't give any, didn't want to be involved because they keep thinking they're aggrieved. But yeah, and came up with, I think, is a sensible plan.
At least there's some type of plan.
Yeah. Meantime, we know this is going to be attacked in many different circles.
Of course, because people are feeling like they're taking their guns away.
Well, yeah, you've got, this is the thing that blows me away. It's that whole kind of, I would say, lunatic section of like the gun owners, the gun nuts, if you will. Now, granted, there are gun control nuts, okay, on far on the other side that might say, oh, we should get rid of all guns, melt them down, and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. But the gun owner nuts, the gun nuts, are the ones that are going on saying, "Oh, the government wants to take away all of my guns."
Now, you know what? I just thought about something. Did the NRA get involved in any way with these sessions?
No, they wouldn't want to. Because that's the thing is, for whatever reason, they basically want to have no gun laws. They want anybody to get any gun. And they want to blame, gun violence on other things.
Okay.
And again, anybody who has it in their mind that the government is going to take away all of their guns is wrong, is completely crazy. Okay? The government tried doing a prohibition of something, there's that word. They tried prohibiting something, taking away everybody's alcohol in the early 20th century. That didn't work, okay? Government ain't going to try to take away guns, okay? What they're going to do, though, is essentially a program partially on actual gun control, but also on other issues that are related to especially some of the most recent shootings like Newtown and Aurora and
Right.
So, first thing first, all gun sales require criminal background checks.
Good. I don't know why that wasn't there anyway.
Well, it's there for the most part, but there's lots of loopholes. Like you can go to a flea market and for whatever reason buy a gun.
Walmart.
You can sell a gun at flea market and not get a background check. That's crazy.
Walmart.
Okay. He's going to do some executive actions, basically to ensure that info on dangerous people are going to be available in the background check system. So you're beefing up the background check system.
Good.
Reinstating, strengthening the assault weapons ban.
Why was that even a ban?
Why was it a ban?
Why was it banned in the first place?
Why was it abandoned? Well, it expired. And during, I believe I don't know if it's during the Bush administration or it may have been even during the Clinton administration, it basically just wasn't renewed. Okay. And, ultimately, the gun control people would say, well, it was weak and it didn't really do anything. Well, okay, fine. We're going to make it a little more. I don't quite understand the concept of I want to be able to purchase a weapon that is used by the military, okay? I want to use that in my civilian life. Right. What is its use? Its only use is to shoot and kill people. I don't really think that. I don't think that that's necessary. Okay. The other thing is they're going to restore a 10-round limit on ammunition magazines. So that 10 rounds, and then you got to reload. 10 rounds, you got to reload. The idea of When you got somebody walking through a school blowing people away, it's not like a movie where they've almost got unlimited ammunition.
10 rounds is a lot.
It's still a lot, but you know what? This is all about it being a start. This is all about it being sensible. When there is no limit to the magazines, that's ridiculous.
Also on this list is to give law enforcement additional tools to prevent and prosecute gun crime. Good.
Right. Yeah, that's part of that tangential thing. The other thing, too, kind of along with law enforcement, is getting rid of, totally banning, armor-piercing bullets.
Right.
The idea that anybody, I need to buy armor-piercing bullets. What you're really saying is that, well, I need to shoot anybody in law enforcement who has a bulletproof vest. I need to really, totally kill them. I mean, think about that.
That's crazy.
Okay, why do you need armor-piercing bullets? And the gun people will say, well, we have guns for sport. Okay, you don't need armor-piercing bullets for sport.
You don't need anything.
You don't need it for target practice.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Next on the list is to end the freeze on gun violence research. Still don't understand why there was a freeze on that anyway. I don't get that. Why? That's something that's so necessary. Next on the list is make our schools safer with more school resource officers and school counselors, safer climates, and better emergency response plans. It's a shame, though, the kids are going to have to go to school and, as soon as they walk through, they're going to have, like, armored guards at the door.
You know what? It's going to be, I think it's going to be similar to, remember after 9/11, a lot of buildings, and especially office buildings, were fortified. Were basically, you look at possible security breaches. And so the idea was, okay, make sure that there's a restricted access, maybe there's security guards there, and certain things based on past mistakes, that can't happen. So, you'll probably you'll have things like, schools that have multiple exits. You'll fortify those exits so that people can't get in. And so that probably you'd even, I would say likely at schools you'd have like bulletproof glass.
Can you believe this? We didn't have this kind of stuff when we were growing up.
No, we didn't need it. I mean, because at Sandy Hook, the guy basically he came up to a secured door, and basically fired into the glass, broke the glass, and walked right in. So it makes sense.
I think maybe like if something like that happened, if they break the glass, maybe an alarm would go off or something. Maybe there'd be something like that.
Right. Things like that would happen. That would somebody breaks the glass, an alarm goes off, and police are notified. Immediately.
Right. Also on the list is help ensure that young people get the mental health treatment they need. So important. You hear this so many times where people, even their family members are saying, you know what, there was something going on with them when they were little, but no one ever reported it.
Yeah. Well, the past few, years, decades, just mental health treatment. You've seen government funding has gone down. It used to be, there's hardly any like crazy houses anymore, and it's, somebody has a mental issue. There's not a whole lot that can be done, which is why, like in the Sandy Hook case, the kid basically had mental health issues, but he was being homeschooled, because mom couldn't afford or didn't have any place in which to put him for better care.
Issues, right. And last but not least on the list is ensure health insurance plans cover mental health benefits. And, one thing I didn't realize was that I know that some of the plans do cover mental health, but I didn't know that there was like some type of limit. I know there's always a limit, but I know there was some type of limit, because I've known people to take a couple of those, times where things happen and they had to go speak to someone, in the mental health department.
Right.
But I didn't know that it was like a limit.
Yeah.
On that,
and I think part of the problem is there's not a whole lot of mental health resources out there, and what's out there is expensive. Yeah. And so the insurance companies limit the maximum of what they'll cover. Then you run out of the limit, and people can't pay out of their pocket.
Yeah.
So I think what'll happen, if we get more mental health facilities out there, probably the cost will go down because there will be a lot more out there.
I think this is great.
It's a sensible start.
Start with something.
It's again, you've got a lot of these gun, enthusiasts or whatever who seem to think that any kind of laws are bad. And, the Second Amendment talks about, for the purpose of a well-regulated militia. Okay, first of all, if you're going to ignore the idea that, you can have guns, the right to bear arms, if you're in a militia, okay, most people aren't in militias anymore. Okay, fine. But don't ignore that well-regulated, okay? Because ultimately, this is well-regulated firearms. This is well-regulated guns.
And there's nothing here saying we're taking your guns away.
Nothing. And it's not going to happen. And a vast majority, probably 98% of gun owners are not going to actually be affected at all by any of these proposals.
Speaking of the gun owners, I know whenever this has to be voted on and things have to go into law. But what about the people who already have firearms? Will they be able to be checked at some point?
Well, I think likely when they have to renew their firearm identification cards,
right.
They'll likely, at that point, you do the background checks.
You get into a system then.
Yeah. Oh, well, they're
some people may not
in
renew.
The system. Well, if they don't renew, then they are unlawfully owning weapons.
So they could get arrested.
If you don't have the license, it's like driving a car without a driver's license.
Yeah.
People
don't get away with it though.
They get away with it, and then something happens, and then the next thing you know, you lose your car and tossed in jail.
And what if you have people who are here illegally?
Aliens from other worlds?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they try to go buy a firearm. So this is going to...
Well, you do a background check, and you basically go, well, this person doesn't exist. Theoretically, when you do a background check, it would be in all of the databases. So if you're here illegally, you're not in the database.
Right.
Because it's not like, I need to find out if someone's on the bad list. It's a background check on somebody.
All right.
Hey, you get a new job, and your employer does background check on you.
Right.
And they're not looking to see if there's anything bad. They're looking to see what's there.
Right.
Good or bad. Okay, this person does exist. This person has a social security card. This person was born in this country. Yeah.
Just to add to this gun violence thing, I was watching MSNBC, and they have started talking about the video game thing again now. Yeah. Saying that, the video games are promoting violence, and that could add to the fact that people are getting these assault weapons and, killing people. I know they're trying to bring this back into play, but it's not only young people that are playing these video games. There are, people 30, 40, 50, 60 years old playing video games. So everybody can't be affected by this. I guess they're going to just try to do some type of research again.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
To see if video games have an effect. I think they do have an effect on you. I'm not saying that they don't.
Well, they may. There may be a certain point of desensitizing people to violence. But, quite honestly, there are so many video games out there, video game players who are playing these. You would expect that there would be a lot more stuff. Now, very well could be, things like this. But nobody said that, any of these kids have played, these shooters have played video games or anything like that.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a 10-year-old with Call of Duty.
Right.
I
theoretically, it's an adults-only game anyway.
It's an adults-only game. So if the parent is buying this for the child, blame you. Right. So step in.
Yeah.
Step in.
That's right. Get your kids a Little Big Planet or something.
Right. Ew, and it's messed up. I know what that game is. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to the John Linetia Show.